Hello everyone, you're welcome once again to Young Investor Network series on financial literacy. The last time we did a discussion on loan amortization, I said that we have two methods of loan repayment, specifically when you're dealing with the amortizations. We have the fixed, we have the declining. We did one, and as you can see here, we took a loan amount of 100,000 at a rate of 12%, maturity 10, payment frequency was 12. In all, we have 120 payments. We estimated our periodic rates by dividing the interest rates by the payment frequency, and then we use the PMT function to estimate our periodic payments, and then the interest, we multiply the periodic rates by the loan amount, and then we estimated our payments. We just referenced it here. Then our principal, we took out the interest, which we have calculated here already. So we took the interest from the payment to get our principal, as you can see here. Then our ending balance was the difference between the beginning balance and then the principal. Alright, so our ending balance becomes the beginning balance for the subsequent or the following periods. Alright, so the same thing applies to this. We just referenced in that way order. So in the end, we realized that the total payment for the period, let me lock the cell up or freeze pan. Alright, so we realized that the total payment for the period ended at 172,165.14, as we can see here, and then the total principal payment ended at 100,000. That is the amount we took from the bank, and then that is the principal, as we can see here. And the total interest was 72,165.14 Ghana cedis. So the two here gives us our total payment. Now, one thing that we should realize is that with this payment method, the payment is fixed. That the total payment over time is fixed. So you are paying a fixed sum of rates or fixed sum of amount throughout the maturity period, but the principal increases over time. All right. So as we can see here, from 434, it goes up, till the end where you have 1420.50. All right, now the interest on the other hand reduces over time. So as we can see, from 1,995, 991, 99 in that order up to the last period, which is the 14.21. Now the ending balance here, we get 0, giving us the assurance that we have been able to exhaust the payment of our loan. All right, so today we are coming to do the other type of loan amortizations repayment. Okay, so with this method, as we have already estimated, we will do it again. The payment, that is the total payment, reduces over time. So as you can see here, total payment is declining. It is not fixed as we saw over there. It is declining. That is the total payment declines over time. Okay, the total payment is declining over time, but the principal is what? Fixed. The principal doesn't change. It is fixed. Let's look at the interest. The interest also declines or keeps reducing over time. All right, so let's clear this calculated figures and then let's do our own analysis. It is not so different from what we have already done. It's just the fixed and then the declining. That is where you should pay particular attention. So mostly some people refer to this method as the flat rate because the principal is fixed. It doesn't change. All right, and then some people refer to the first one that we estimated, the first one we did, as the reducing balance method or the declining balance method, because if you look at this, the interest is declining, all right, but the payment is fixed. but the principal keeps increasing. All right, increases over time. Now let's look at this one. All right, so let's clear this up. We have already done it before, so we can just use it as a homework. So first of all, we need to estimate the number of periods. We've gone for a loan of 20,000 at a rate of 12%, maturity 10, frequency is 12. The number of periods then becomes the 10 times your 12. All right, then the periodic rate, we said you divide the yearly rate by the period, that is the payment frequency. Then the principal, here we are not going to estimate the payment, but rather we are going to estimate the principal, because the payment is not fixed, but rather the principal is fixed. We need to estimate that fixed amount. All right, so how do you estimate the fixed principal amount? All right, so we just divide the loan amount here by the total number of periods. So it tells us that every period we are paying from the first month up to 1/20th month, we are going to pay 116.67 of the loan amount that we took from the bank. That is on a monthly basis or monthly basis. Now we need to estimate our interest. So we said it is the principal here times our, or multiply by our periodic rate. Okay, so there we have it. Now let's go to our schedule and then estimate our loan amortization schedule. So with the beginning balance, we reference our loan amount here. Now the payments, we are not going to handle it for now, but let's look at the principal. Okay, we have estimated, or we have calculated our principal already. Interest component, we have done that already as well, so we just have to reference it. Okay, now to estimate your payment, it is the sum of the principal and then the interest. So we just have to use the sum function, or just add the two of them, and we are good to go. How then do we get our ending balance? So last time we said it is a beginning balance, then you take out your principal amount. All right, so this is for the first month. You pay this for the total loan that you have gone for. That is the principal plus the interest. This is what you are paying for the first month. Now the principal component that you paid is 166.67. that is the loan amount they gave to you. You paid 166.67 of the loan amount, excluding the interest. Are we okay? So the interest component is the 200 Ghana cedis. So the next period, how do we get our balance? It is last balance, like balance brought forward. All right, so we just have to reference that. Okay, so we know that this is how it's going to be. We are going to reference the ending balances becomes the beginning balances. If that is the case, then we just have to just drag it and we are good to go. All right, don't worry, the figures here will come by themselves as we fill up the other empty cells. Okay, so the payment here, we know that the payment is the sum of the principal. The payment is the sum of the principal and then the interest. So what we have to do, since we have done it for this first F2, we just have to drag it. All right, now let's look at the principal component. We said the principal is going to be fixed over time. So throughout the 120 periods or months, we are going to have a fixed principal. So what we have to do is to lock the first calculated one, that is the referenced cell, with our F4 key or the $ here, as we have done. Then we just drag it. All right, now how then do we get our interest? We say the interest is the interest rate on the principal, on the loan amount. So in this case, the first one, our loan amount was 20,000 and we paid some of the money. Now we have 1988 to pay. So to estimate our interest, we just have to take our 1%, our periodic 1% here, and then multiply it by our beginning balance. All right, so there we have it. So we know that it is going to be like that throughout. So the periodic rate times the beginning balance is here. If that is the case, then we have to log the B7 app, which is the periodic rate, with the help of F4 or the dollar sign. Okay, so that is it. Then you just drag it. Okay, so we need to estimate our ending balance. Once we have our ending balance and we drag it, the other cells will fill up. Okay, so to be able to do that, we know that to get your ending balance, it is the beginning balance, then you take out your principal amount. So we just have to drag it here, and there we have it. Okay, so as you can see, that is it. So let's clear the last cell, since that is going to be our sum. So we have the sum to estimate the total amount here. Okay, so that's the total beginning balance. We will not really need it for any analysis, but the most important ones are the total payments, as we have here, total principal, as we have here, then the total interest payment. All right, yeah, so let's look at it critically well. The sum of the principal is giving us 20,000, as we can see here. All right, now the sum of the interest is giving us 12,100. When you sum the two up here, you are going to get your total payment. We are okay with that. Let's look at the trend. And now you sit back home and critically look at the two methods. See how the calculations differ, and try your hands on it. All right, so let's look at the payment in this case. We said the payment for the first one we did, the payment was fixed. We use the annuity function to estimate it, or we use the PMT function in Excel. All right, so in this case, you can tell that the payment is rather hot, reducing over time from 366, 365, then 336, then the last one is 168.33. The payment is reducing. Now let's look at the principal payment. The principal here, it is what? Fixed. All right. Now let's look at the interest component. The interest component is also declining from 200 to 190, 180, 170. All right, to the last one, that is the last period, which is 1 CD 67 pesos. All right, let's look at the ending balance as well. All right, so it keeps reducing over time to the last period, where we have 0.00, meaning that we've been able to finish repaying our loans. So viewers, I hope now you can differentiate between the two methods of loan amortization, so that anytime you go out there for a loan and the bank or the company tells you that, oh, every month you'll be paying this amount of money, you need to ask questions. How did they come about it? If they are able to give you the figures, you come back home with the help of Excel and with the help of Young Investor Network's videos, you can be able to estimate or determine whether or not you are being cheated. All right, so I hope you really get the difference between the two here. As time goes on, more of these will be posted here. Right, in our subsequent videos, we will take you through the difference between effective interest rates and then nominal rate, so that when you go out there and then you hear that they say interest rate is 14.5% on a particular loan, you may want to know what is that, what are they trying to say, what does it mean. So we will also explain things up with some figures here, hypothetical ones. Of course, those that are real, we will use them. Those that are hypothetical, we'll use them just for your understanding. So viewers, this has been Young Investor Network's series on financial literacy, and today we have concluded our series on loan amortization. We looked at the two methods of loan repayment with the use of loan amortization, where we dealt with the fixed and then the reducing balance method. Like, share, comment, anything that you want, and then promote Young Investor Network. This has been Prosper Apanye of Young Investor Network. Thank you very much.